What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Leo coming to you guys with yet another video. Coming to you guys today with another reaction video. Coming to you guys with 10 best WWE matches of 2017. The series continues. 2017 was an interesting year because there were some good moments, but then there were some not so good moments. We had a great match between The Shield and the New Day that year. We had AJ versus Lesnar. We had some other great matches. We had John Cena versus AJ. We had a great not Hell in a Cell, but Elimination Chamber match, and we had some not so good moments. We had to deal with none other than Jinder Mahal as WWE Champion. We also had some other matches that weren't so good. I mean, the whole Bray Wyatt thing didn't really pan out the way a lot of people wanted it to. But it was still an exceptional year nonetheless. So let's see what Cultaholic has to say and what do they have to come up with as far as best WWE matches of 2017.
The year of our Lord 2017 was full of ups and downs for WWE. The Undertaker seemingly retired in a pretty awful match at WrestleMania 33. Baron Corbin became Mr. Money in the Bank, and
Should have cashed in successfully though. But that's neither here nor
Jinder
there.
Mahal won the WWE Championship. Wait a second, those are all the downs. Where the hell are the ups? Thankfully, there were some great moments.
This had potential to be something really big, but they decided to give it to Goldberg. They decided to give it to a part-timer who didn't really need it, and if anything, he could have just put Kevin Owens even more, considering like you could have at this time they were both champions. Like Kevin was Universal, and then you had Chris Jericho as your United States champion, and I think that the plan was to have them compete for the Universal Championship. And the way their storyline was really picking up, you had all the potential in the world to really give Chris Jericho the Royal Rumble win that year, because I think he made it down to like the final four, final five. You could have went all the way and had him win the Royal Rumble, and this could have set up that match potential for WrestleMania that year. Because like their match for the U.S. Championship, it was okay, but really nothing too memorable. So they really could have went all in, but unfortunately they chose not to.
Across the year, such as the Hardy Boys making their comeback, the rise of the Undisputed Era in NXT, and these outstanding matches. I'm Adam Pachisi from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are the 10 best WWE matches of 2017. Join us. Number 10, Samoa Joe versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt at Extreme Rules. One of the big problems facing Raw in 2017 was the absence of Brock Lesnar, who had become Universal Champ at WrestleMania and then gone on an extended holiday. He wasn't booked for the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, so what did WWE do instead? Well, they just stuck 5 of their biggest names into one match and told them to knock the stuffing out of each other.
This match was really good though, because you had we already knew Roman Reigns being the top guy, of course. Bray Wyatt was very interesting too, because the past that him and Brock did have the previous year, and we had Seth Rollins coming off as a babyface after his win over Triple H at Mania, and we had Finn Balor, who was somebody I think a lot of people wanted to see win that. And then we also had Samoa Joe, who has been just tearing it up and being an absolute beast on WWE television. So it was a great way to kind of have your top stars be involved and set up, pretty much the future of Raw going forward. So it was a great concept nonetheless. I think going into this, I did have Finn Balor just the way they were kind of teasing it.
Yeah, that'll do it. Balor, Joe, Reigns, Rollins, and Wyatt clashed over the number 1 contendership in this completely insane show-closing brawl. For almost half an hour, these brutes took chunks out of each other, making full use of the no DQ stipulation, which wasn't always the case with this show, despite its name. Spot fests aren't always a good thing, but this was a great example of how to do one right, with plenty of exciting sequences helmed by 5 distinct characters fans could get invested in. Joe won the bouts by choking out Finn, which granted him a title match with Brock at the upcoming Great Balls of Fire. Goodness gracious. Number 9.
Thursday Night Football on Prime. It's on.
This week, the New England Patriots take on the New York Jets as Thursday Night Football is on. Stream Thursday Night Football only on Prime.
should have.
These mushrooms make you feel better. Like
Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon at Hell in a Cell. For some bizarre reason, WWE decided to book Kevin Owens.
This was also a great match. This was a great match too, and what it led to the heel turn of Sami Zayn and aligning with Kevin Owens, which I was not mad at it, because I think him as a face kind of ran its course. It was kind of getting stale, but people were still buying into Sami Zayn, but they weren't buying into him as being like a credible threat to doing anything like as a champion or becoming a champion and stuff like that. So I honestly, they could have really went with Sami going up against Kevin that year, because the promos that they were having when Sami first got brought to SmackDown and he was talking to Kevin Owens, is like saying, you always became champion, you always did this, you always did that, and I haven't got there yet, but my day will come. I think you could have ran with that.
Owens in a feud with Shane McMahon that took up most of the back half of 2017. KO and the Billionaire's Son only had one actual match during this time, but to be fair, it was a real doozy. The stage was the 2017 Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, and Owens and McMahon were put inside the titular structure. Fans who feared that this would be a repeat of Shane's mostly boring Mania 32 match with The Undertaker need not have worried, as the prize fighter was in much better shape than the dead man, i.e. he could actually still walk. Owens got the best out of his blue brand boss, who naturally thrives in no DQ environments. Did it need to go 40 minutes? Well, no, but it was still good fun. There was some great action inside the cell, but everybody remembers this match for what happened outside of it. Shane threw himself off the big scary cube, looking to crush his opponent beneath him, only for Sami Zayn to run in at literally the last possible second to pull his old enemy to safety. Now that is how you end a match. Number 8, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match at Money in the Bank. 2017's Money in the Bank was a SmackDown exclusive.
This was the only time that it was brand exclusive, I think, during this time. I think before this, the last time they were actually brand exclusive was 2013, because you had 2 separate Money in the Banks. The match itself was really good, I will give it that. I just think the winner wasn't one that I think a lot of people wanted to see, and it's no disrespect to Baron Corbin. I just think with how stacked the match was, I think a lot of people wanted to see like a AJ or Kevin Owens, maybe a Sami Zayn or Shinsuke win the match and stuff like that. But I think when they gave it to Baron Corbin, I think it just drew a lot of the excitement out of the match, especially when you pan over to the crowd. They weren't really okay with the decision, but I wish still Baron Corbin did cash in successfully, but unfortunately that was not the case.
Of a fair, and also played host to the first ever women's version of the eponymous match. However, it was the men's version that performed better, mostly because it wasn't won by James bloody Ellsworth. Dolph Ziggler, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura were all in the running for the briefcase, and all brought their A game. There were plenty of flippy boys involved who were willing and able to put on a show, and this was a ladder match featuring Owens and Zayn, which guaranteed that they would do horrible things to each other in the name of our entertainment. There was also that fun spot where Styles was left dangling above the ring, presumably because somebody told him the floor was made of globes. The only downside to this excellent example of a Money in the Bank match to some was the winner, Baron Corbin, who was nobody's preferred choice, and it made matters worse that he failed his cash-in later in the year. Still, the match did give us that awesome AJ Shinsuke stare down, so I guess all is forgiven. Number 7, Finn Balor versus AJ Styles at TLC. Relying on the
Easily one of my favorite matches. Now, originally this was not supposed to be the match that they were going to go with. We were supposed to get like Demon Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt RP. I think was going to be like almost somewhat close to the Fiend. I think that's what they were trying to go with, and then we were going to have AJ. I think we were going to get Roman doing something on that show. Okay, so pretty much now I have to wait and kind of let things kind of come back to me. But Roman was supposed to be with Ambrose and Rollins to go up against The Miz and the Miztourage and Strowman and Kane. And I think that's when we were supposed to get Finn and Bray. But then since Bray and Roman had came up with like a sickness or something like that, to where AJ had to be filled in, and then that's kind of where it happened. So, but I think we still got a great match with AJ and Finn. I think with their history going back to like their New Japan days and being part of the Bullet Club, I think it really brought back a lot of excitement for them, especially for Finn, just considering the year that he was having. And we know pretty much AJ, he started off the year as world champion and we're still having great matches. So it was still a great year to close the year for these two.
Cards subject to change caveat isn't usually a good thing in wrestling, but at TLC 2017, it actually saved the show. An outbreak of the mumps late in the day changed many plans for this pay-per-view, including Finn Balor's original opponent of Bray Wyatt. Well, actually, it was technically Balor's demon persona versus Sister Abigail, which was just Bray with a doily over his head. Bray's illness meant that this horrible idea was scrapped and AJ Styles was flown over from SmackDown to face Finn instead. Oh yeah, just casually drop this dream match of two former Bullet Club leaders at our feet with no bill, WWE. Why do you play with our feelings like this? Despite being purely an exhibition match, the Phenomenal One and the Irish Prince showed everyone why they were two of the best wrestlers working in the world at the time. This was an NXT TakeOver style match on WWE's main roster, something that was incredibly rare back in the day, and Balor getting the big win surely meant that he was destined for great things. What's that? He got squashed on the next episode of Raw by Kane? As you were then. Number 6, Kevin Owens versus Roman.
Oh, the cranberry. Cute on the outside.
That win to build momentum.
Reigns at Royal Rumble. Part of why it was so strange that Kevin Owens had such a lengthy feud with a middle-aged non-wrestler was that earlier in the very same year, he had been Universal Champion. Owens had won the belt the previous year and made his first big title defense of 2017 at the Royal Rumble, where he faced off against the Big Dog. And not just in any old match, a no DQ match. And
They killed it. These two actually killed it. And it's crazy to think, like, with Roman Reigns, I think a lot of people will look at his biggest rival as Seth Rollins, which is absolutely true, or Brock Lesnar. But I think one that people kind of tend to sleep on is Kevin Owens. Like, Kevin Owens and Roman, they have a lot of history and they have a lot of great chemistry when they are in the ring. You look at their numerous encounters going back to 2017 at the Royal Rumble, going over to like what was it, Roadblock into the line in 2016, then going over to the Tribal Chief era when he was Universal Champion, facing him at the World Rumble again in 2021, and then they did it again at TLC in 2020, and then going all the way to Royal Rumble 2023 again. So they have a lot of history and a lot of encounters, and I do see a potential another encounter between those two coming at some point.
And not just any no DQ match, one where Chris Jericho was suspended above the ring in a shark cage. You know there's such a thing as overbooking, right, WWE? Nevertheless, this match was awesome. Owens and Reigns had excellent chemistry and worked really well in this hardcore environment, getting super creative with weapons and keeping the wild violence going at a strong and steady pace. This was also one of the first instances of Owens hitting somebody with a stunner on the main roster, which is a neat little footnote, the more you know. The champion retained the gold after a blistering match that thankfully WWE didn't overbook even more by having Braun Strowman run in at the end and cost Roman. Oh, sorry, yeah, that's precisely what happened. Still, hell of a bout. Number 5, the Men's Elimination Chamber at Elimination Chamber. After 15 years of forcing their performers to take horrible bumps on exposed steel grates inside the Elimination Chamber, WWE finally introduced a version of the structure with padding on the outside. Boo, dead match, unsubscribe. This baby version of the chamber debuted in 2017 with a match for the WWE Championship. John Cena was defending against AJ Styles, Bray Wyatt, Baron Corbin, Dean Ambrose and The Miz, all of whom had recent history with at least one other member of the match. And that made for quite the tussle. Intermingling narrative threads combined with some top-notch grappling produced one of the strongest chamber matches in some time, with the final 3 coming down to Cena, Styles and Wyatt. The Eater of Worlds was able to take down both men, pinning AJ after countering the phenomenal forearm to become WWE Champion for the very first time. This result...
And this moment was actually really cool, but it's just the execution that was handled poorly, because you had Randy Orton, who won the Royal Rumble, and he chose not to face Randy for the title, and and with him being part of the Wyatt family and everything like that at the time. But you still had a great opportunity to capitalize on all of this if you were to still continue with this Randy and Bray Wyatt feud going into WrestleMania, because we were understanding that that was the plan. But the match itself didn't really amount to much of anything, and then at the same time, it kind of diminished Bray Wyatt's aura and mystique as being a main eventer because of how they handled it. They could have handled it way better, but you had the different graphics of worms and bugs and stuff like that, and I didn't like that. And I wished they would have handled him even better. I know they kind of did him better with the Fiend just a little bit, but then they still kind of, handled him poorly with the execution, with everything that they did with Goldberg. So him as a world champion always could have been something special, but they always handled the execution poorly.
Just made the match even sweeter. Many had worried that the ship had sailed on Wyatt as a top guy, so to see him finally capture the prize he had worked so hard for was fantastic. Even if he was meant to be a heel. Shut up. Number 4, Brock.
Train for a new career in 2 years or less at Universal Technical Institute. Our technician programs prepare students.
Lesnar versus AJ Styles at
As I was saying, I was jealous because this match did take place in my hometown and I didn't go to the pay-per-view to see it. This match was really, really good. We had the Universal Champion versus SmackDown WWE Champion. These two actually had a great match. And the thing with Brock is a lot of the times when he's facing these smaller guys, he's always putting on great matches. Well, everybody except Ricochet, of course, but everybody else, they've had great matches with Brock Lesnar and stuff like that. And this was like one of my favorite matches of 2017 period, just because they were doing AJ great. He was a face at this time, going up against Brock. And I think they were going to run it back in 2018, but then they gave it to Daniel Bryan. So I think this has still stands the test of time, honestly.
Survivor Series. For a fair bit of 2017, fans had to sit through one of the worst world title reigns in modern history as Jinder Mahal limply carried SmackDown as its unprepared WWE champion. This left everyone wondering how the company was going to book him in the traditional Survivor Series champion versus champion match against Raw's Brock Lesnar. Turns out they didn't have to, probably because Brock didn't fancy it, and they put the title on AJ Styles right before the pay-per-view. Phew. As if any more proof was needed that Styles was a better choice than the modern-day Maharaja, he went on to have an incredible bout with the Beast structured around whether AJ's speed and agility were enough to topple the behemoth. Styles sold like a fiend for his opponent, playing the outgunned babyface to perfection. But to be fair, Lesnar gave it right back, showing real peril in the brief moments where AJ got the upper hand. Though the result was never really in doubt, this match did enough to make people believe that Styles could win, and that is what wrestling is all about. Number 3, The New Day versus the Usos at Hell in a Cell. Nobody expected
These two carried the tag team division. These two were the tag team division for the longest time. And the fact that you put two of your best tag teams in Hell in a Cell, and it really was good. People really went into it with a lot of criticism, thinking that it wasn't going to be good. But like, the match they even had at Battleground, and I think that was a kickoff. And I think SummerSlam was the kickoff, and that match was good. I don't understand why they didn't put that on the main card over some of the other matches they had there. But still, these two carried the SmackDown tag team division. And when you think of SmackDown tag team champions before they were like unified and everything like that, these were the two teams that came to mind when you thought of the title, just because of the matches that they were having, the promos that they were having. They were literally going at each other week after week after week, to the point it boiled over, to the point they had to put these two teams inside Hell in a Cell. And they actually had a great match, and it delivered, and it exceeded a lot of people's expectations that they that they had on this match.
One of the best rivalries of 2017 to come from SmackDown's tag team division, mainly because Vince McMahon viewed tandem wrestling with the same amount of respect as I view the chewing gum stuck to my shoe. The Usos, who had undergone a serious character revamp the year before, first crossed paths with the New Day at Battleground and would fight many more times throughout the year, both on pay-per-view and TV. After an incredible match on the SummerSlam pre-show, which very nearly made this list, the two teams squared off inside Hell in a Cell for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, and core blimey was it good. Both teams had incredible chemistry with one another, and their rivalry had built organically, so a stipulation of this magnitude had been thoroughly earned. They played off their previous matches superbly, incorporating new twists to the format and using a healthy amount of weapons to boot. Jimmy and Jay got the win, got the titles, and put this incredible rivalry to bed in stunning fashion. In fact, this feud was so good that it turned the Usos babyface without them even needing to do anything. Number 2, Brock.
When you shop with the Shipt app, vacation happens, rain or shine. Shipt, delight in every delivery.
Playtime's over. Ready up! On me.
Lesnar versus Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe versus Braun Strowman at SummerSlam. The final entry in our series of multi-man matches that devolved into absolute chaos took place at SummerSlam 2017, a show which was largely quite boring. The main event of the night was Brock Lesnar defending his Universal Championship against 3 recent adversaries, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, and Braun Strowman. That said, these 4 would have to do something special to wake up this tired crowd, and that is precisely what they did. So, think of a demolition derby, but with people instead of cars, and you have a pretty good idea of what this match looked like. There were crashes, there were bashes, there were smashes, there were a 4th thing that ends in ashes. What I'm trying to say is I'm amazed that the Barclays Center was still standing once these guys were through with it. The Beast retained the gold, but the real winner was the monster among men who announced himself in a big way in this match. Us wrestling fans are simple folk, and sometimes all we want to see is 4 gigantic lads running into each other really hard and really fast. Long live.
And that's the thing. This match, even though Brock won, I think, like he said, the true winner was Braun Strowman in this, because it helped him. Ultimately, it helped him elevate him to another level and really allowed him to really show a side of him that we haven't really seen before. Like, he came out of the gates, like, being very, like, destructive towards Brock Lesnar, putting him through 2 tables, to the point he had to be carted out on a stretcher, I believe, and then he was able to return later in the match. So I think in that alone, it helped him along the way for sure.
The meat. Number 1, AJ Styles versus John Cena at Royal Rumble. After a series of great matches in 2016, AJ Styles and John Cena squared off one more time at the 2017 Royal Rumble, this time for AJ's WWE title. The ex-TNA man had routinely gotten the better of Mr. WWE, leaving Johnny Boy with a lot to prove. This, plus the talent of both men involved, resulted in a truly special encounter. This was everything a big-time title fight should be. It started slowly, the pace gradually building over time, until by the end it was a breathtaking sprint to the finish. Big moves were hit, countered, and kicked out of in equal measure as fans perched on the edge of their seats, desperate to see what would happen next. In the end, history was made when Cena emphatically hit Styles with back-to-back attitude adjustments to pin the champ and claim the belt for his own. With this, he became a 16-time world champion, tying Ric Flair's legendary record. Just don't mention that to the Nature Boy, he'll get cross. One of the best matches in both performers' legendary careers, this was a shoo-in for Match of the Year just 29 days into it.
Yeah, I mean, the match they had was really good. Like, I can see why he has a number 1. This was literally on my bucket list as far as matches that I enjoyed for 2017. Just the history that they had alone, like where he came in and he pretty much, like he said, he was beating John Cena numerous times over and over. John Cena could not get a win over AJ. Like, I think the first time they had their encounter was Money in the Bank 2016. Yes, it had some controversy, but AJ did get the win. They had another match at SummerSlam that year, which John Cena lost as well, but this time AJ won clean. Then they had a triple threat that year where it was Ambrose, Cena, AJ, no mercy for the WWE Championship, and this time AJ pinned John Cena again, and then this was like their fourth time meeting up to where John Cena finally got his win over AJ, and I think it really set up like some interesting stories going into WrestleMania that year. Honestly, I think for at least for AJ, because seemed like he was directionless and didn't have anything, and then John Cena went on to have a mixed tag between him and his then girlfriend Nikki Bella to go up against Maurice and The Miz. So it kind of set up some things going into to set up their paths to WrestleMania, I would say. But I think this is still an instant classic match that I do recommend a lot of people go back and watch. But that is the end of the video, guys. Comment down below, let me know what were some of your favorite matches from 2017, where if they were on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or on pay-per-views. Let me know if they, just in case they weren't on this list, let me know in the comment section down below. Or even if they were on this list, let me know what was your favorite match and why was it your favorite match. I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. Road to 300 subscribers. We're getting very, very close to that milestone. Super kick that like button. It helps my channel get pushed up across the platform so more people can see what I'm doing over here on YouTube. Superman punch that post notification bell so every time I post a new video, whether it's a reaction video, rant video, live stream, any type of video, you could be in the loop of things when I do drop a video. And spear the subscribe button. Takes 3 seconds out of your day to do those 3 things for me. The ultimate goal is 10K. When I do hit 10K, I will do a giveaway like I said in every one of my videos. Whoever wins the giveaway will have the opportunity to win a WWE Championship from WWE Shop. So if you want to have the opportunity to be a part of that and pretty much be that potential lucky subscriber that does win that giveaway, subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. You can always change your mind in the future. But why would you want to do that? I'm trying to give you guys daily wrestling content. The grind does not stop. But I appreciate everybody. Hope everybody has a great day, a great rest of the week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.